graph displays Russian exports to India. Here is another chart displaying Russian exports to Iran. In all instances, there has been an increase since roughly a year ago, with clear references. Russia looked to Iran and India to make up for some of the shortages after losing access to European markets due to its invasion of Ukraine. Even though the Russian, Iranian, and Indian trade has increased, the infrastructure foundation has been laid for a long time. It can take years to become an instant hit. For many years, Moscow has worked to increase trade along a vertical axis by rail and ship. An important factor in this is the International North-South Transport Corridor, which will circumvent both the Western and Chinese geopolitical real arms by running 7,200 kilometers from St. Petersburg to Mumbai via Iran. The objective is to successfully make Russian trade with the South sanction-proof and promote new trade channels. Compared to before the Ukraine war, there is a greater commercial interest in the enormous endeavor today. However, India will determine how well the project goes overall. The only way to make things happen is to have New Delhi's full participation. Making the appropriate move at the appropriate moment is thus Russia's strategic objective. The diplomatic objective is to persuade everyone else that is what their idea though. Iran is a stronghold with the ocean on its fourth flank and mountain on its other three sides. Over the years, these physical obstacles have kept the nation's border largely constant. Iran's problem recently, nonetheless, have stemmed less from overt invasion and more from internal pressure, economic sanctions, and disguised foreign meddling. As a result, the Iranian state acts as a reinforced land link between the Caucasus, the Middle East, Central Asia, and South Asia. However, Iran's pariah status has left most of its geo-economic capability unrealized. In spite of this, nothing fosters camaraderie like a shared adversary. In a manner similar to Iran, ties between Moscow and Washington decline over time at first, then abruptly. Since the United States is the world's most powerful naval power, this puts its rival seabound trade at risk. This comprises the typical shipping way from St. Petersburg via the Baltic, through Iberia, through the Mediterranean, the Suez, across the Red Sea, and around Yemen to Mumbai. Moscow enacted a deal to create the International North-South Transport Corridor with the governments of India and Iran in September 2000 in an effort to lessen the reliance on maritime trade. In the years that follows, Kazakhstan, Belarus, Oman, Tajikistan, Azerbaijan, Armenia, and Syria joined the agreement, with Bulgaria serving as a supplementary observer. After years of discourse, however, India, Iran, Azerbaijan, and Russia surfaced as the corridor main player. However, not everyone made the final list. The worldwide North-South Transport Corridor, currently under construction, envisions a multimodal network of rail and port connections. Cargo will be transported over the proposed route from St. Petersburg and Moscow to Volgograd and then on the southern port city of Astrakhan. The road then divides into two. The western branch of Akros Rail travels from Iran to Baku, Azerbaijan, across that country. The eastern branch, on the other hand, is a waterway that crosses the Caspian Sea from Russia to Iran. At Bandar Anzali, the parallel routes converge before moving south and splitting once more close to Zahedan. Then, by way of the ports of Bandarbas and Chabar, both rail lines were relocated to anchor. The lines continue on from there, traverse the Arabian Sea before arriving at Mumbai. Comparatively short to 16,000 km Mediterranean route, the vertical corridor is about 720 km long overall. Test results indicate that the North-South Transit Corridor might cut shipping costs in half and travel time in half. The project would open up Caspian Sea's oil riches in addition to facilitating trade between Iran, Russia, and India. Along with significant oil gas reserves, it also has the potential for solar, hydro, and wind energy. In terms of access to Caspian resources, the North-South Transport Corridor effectively provides the three republics a foot in the door, though sometimes an idea must be destroyed in order to rise the ambition off from the ashes, and Russia to revive the initiatives is more driven by economic need than by calm breakaway. The corridor as a concept was not given any attention and was mainly ignored for 20 years. The project only gained fresh significance as an anchor for Russia's economy following recent sanctions imposed by the West. To achieve this, 102 large-scale building projects worth $38 billion have been funded by Moscow, New Delhi, and Tehran. Included in this is Moscow's $1 billion plan to open the Don-Volga Canal for commercial shipping. The Volga and Don River could be joined, uniting Russia's main waterways into a single system. Additionally, it would link the Black Sea and Caspian Sea economies. New value chains would develop as a result along the north-south transport corridor that runs from Russia to Iran. Nevertheless, during the course of the procedure, freight would need to pass through Azerbaijan either by land or water. The Astra-Resh railway is being built by Baku and Tehran, who have each committed 500 million to its completion by 2025. The success of the corridor likely depends the most on this railway. In terms of engineering, it has also been the most challenging. There are 45 bridges and 53 tunnels along the train lines that wind over rocky mountain terrain. Azerbaijan's position at the intersection of rail transit corridors such as the Middle Corridor means that the port of Baku will probably be operating at full capacity for the foreseeable future. Consequently, the Astra-Resh railway may prove to be a more dependable route for Russian-Iranian trade. The related train line from Zahedan to Japan is yet another incomplete piece of infrastructure. The project will be crucial for connecting land and maritime routes into a multimodal corridor, but it will be costly, costing $1.6 billion. The allies of Iran are also of little assistance. While Moscow's resources are devoted to its war in Ukraine, New Delhi places a higher priority on connectivity between Mumbai and Chapar. Thus, Iran has little to no chance of attracting sufficient international investment. Additionally to the physical initiatives, political statecraft has been present. A free trade deal with Iran was completed by the Eurasian Economic Union in January 2023. Bilateral trade will increase once the agreement becomes effective. Engagement of neutral states by Russia and Iran offers much-needed commercial diversification away from Chinese economic dominance and the Western Bloc, which sees them as renegade states. The world's most sanctioned regimes are now held by Moscow and Tehran, respectively. As a result, both parties have moved towards neutral countries like India as a natural response. In contrast, New Delhi saw a forceful growth in Russia commerce in 2022. India has been able to purchase surplus Russian oil at a bargain, thanks in part to Western sanctions aimed to Moscow. The North-South Transit Corridor will establish a mutually beneficial commercial link by cutting it into Eurasia physical terrain, and the match seems to be made in heaven given how much Russia and India both like purchasing goods. However, true love's journey was never easy, and New Delhi had its own reason for enhancing trade relations, some of which tangle with the geopolitical goals of the Kremlin. The North-South Transport Corridor is a mechanism by which India can realize its goal of increasing its overall trade value from $640 billion to $2 trillion by 2030. In related news, New Delhi has taken over management of the Chabar fort in Iran from 2018. In the long run, this will provide India access to the Persian Gulf for commercial purpose, paving the way for its eventually reach Central Asia markets through more infrastructure initiatives. The circumvent the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor is the strategic rationale behind India's Chabar site project. However, New Delhi might sever ties with Moscow by openly opposing Beijing interests. Russia and India have long-standing diplomatic ties. Nevertheless, despite claims to the contrary, these allies are more often only allies for political purposes. Russia and China are concerned. They are drawn together by their shared contempt for Washington, but their troubled past is too present for them to forget. India, meanwhile, is just strengthening its connections with the American-led Quad coalition and moving closer to the Western Bloc. Additionally, China has emerged as a significant market for Russia oil since last year. Moscow cannot ignore Beijing after losing access to European markets. Therefore, should Chinese-American tension rise in India and Russia, those countries might find themselves on opposing sides of the issue. These and other factors cast doubt on the vertical corridor's trust. Even more problematic is Iran, whose relationship with its neighbor Azerbaijan has long been hostile, in part because of that country's close ties to Israel and Turkey. In Iran's region, with a preponderance of Azerbaijanis, there are also concerns about covert separatist tendencies. Iran could follow Yugoslavia's example and become more balkanized if Iranian Azerbaijani rebels start using force and the situation deteriorates. Tehran would reconsider the entire project if the new links made possibly by the Astara-Rasht railway present a danger to the Iranian state's integrity. The corridor might be permanently shelved if this occurs. In general, international north-south travel, the corridor project has the potential to boost the reputations of Russia, India, and Iran, but each nation seeks to get personal benefits from agreement. Despite overall agreement between the parties, divergent policy agendas could indicate a future disagreement. However, Russia is an expert in geopolitics. It is aware of how to play the game and, more significantly, when to flip the board and begin a fresh round. So that's all for today, folks. Take care of yourself. Give us your thoughts on this in the comment section. And if you appreciate our content, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Share this video with your family and friends. We will meet soon in a new video. Thank you. Jai Hind.